There can only be one winner, and you're looking at him. Let's go.
All right, live reaction of the brand new box that was just announced in game after we were predicting of what cards could possibly come, with the Nekroz deck type being the main focus because they just limited a core card of the deck to 1. Let's see what's good. Open the gateway to chaos and gain the power of a super soldier. Blackluster soldier, super soldier arises. Book of Moon's coming, so that's a big. Right away, I'm just like skipping to that. Book of Moon. We've been waiting for this card to be reprinted forever. Finally, all of you get to have Book of Moon. That's great. Blackluster soldier, super soldier. What the hell? You could ritual summon this card with Super Soldier Ritual. If this card destroys an opponent's monster by battle and send it to the graveyard, inflict damage to your opponent equal to half its attack in the graveyard. If this card is destroyed by battle and sent to the graveyard, or if this card in your possession is destroyed by an opponent's card effect and sent to the grave, you could special summon one Gaia Fierce Knight from your hand, deck, or grave. You can only special summon a Blackluster Super Soldier once per turn this way. My initial reaction to this is not good unless they give us a crazy skill. Okay, so you could select a ritual monster from your hand to... You could select one ritual monster from your hand to the grave. Select one from the hand to the grave. That doesn't make sense, but okay. And add a Super Soldier Synthesis from your deck to your hand. If you send a Blackluster Soldier to your graveyard, you could place one Super Soldier Rebirth from your fields, from your hand or deck, to your field from your hand or deck. You can only special summon ritual monsters during this turn, and you can only activate one monster effect during the main phase until the end of the battle phase. This skill will only activate if you begin the duel with a bunch of restrictions. Okay, so this will be where the Blackluster Soldier Super Soldier, mate, with this. What is good? Target a Blackluster Soldier you control, send it to the graveyard. If you do, special summon a Blackluster from your hand with a different name than that monster, ignoring its summoning conditions. What? Target a Blackluster monster you control, send it to the graveyard. If you do, special summon a Blackluster monster from your hand with a different name, ignoring its summoning conditions during your main phase, except the turn this was sent to the graveyard. You can banish this card to target a Blackluster in your graveyard, add it to your hand. You can only activate one Super Soldier Rebirth once per turn. And this can be summoned from the graveyard using the Super Soldier Synthesis, right? This card can be used to ritual summon a Blackluster Soldier ritual from your hand or graveyard. Interesting. Level 8, and it will be send a light and a dark, one from your hand, one from your deck, whose total levels equal 8. So I'm already thinking Sphere Kribo plus a level 7. That could be good. Okay. It's just an initial reaction. We're not doing a full review of this. We're just doing an initial reaction. So a new skill, new Blackluster Soldier. I am hyped for that. Archfiend Black Skull Dragon. So Konami wants us to know that Yugi and Joey's fusion monster has gained a new power. When it battles, your opponent cannot activate the effects of spell, trap, or monster effects until the end of the damage step. In addition, at the end of the battle phase, if this fusion summon monster has battled, it can inflict damage to your opponent equal to half the original attack of one Red Eyes normal monster in your graveyard. You can defeat your opponent before they counter attack you with its high attack and this effect. A level 6 Archfiend normal monster plus a Red Eyes normal monster, Archfiend Black Skull Dragon. You can only special summon Archfiend Black Skull Dragon once per turn. If this card battles, your opponent's card effects cannot be activated. If damage calculations performed at the end of the battle phase, you could target one Red Eyes in your graveyard, inflict damage equal to half of its original attack, and then shuffle it back into the deck. Interesting. Okay. That seems quite poggers. We're going to be making all the deck type channels. Time Wizard. Joey's Time Wizard is now a fusion monster. If this monster is fusion summoned, you could toss a coin once per turn. If you call it right, destroy all monsters on the field and inflict damage equal to a quarter. To quarter. We got quarter. To quarter the total original attack. Whip out your calculators. 1/4 of the original attacks. When are we going to get 1/8? 1/8 of the original attack of the destroyed face-up monsters. If you call it wrong, destroy all monsters on the field, and you receive damage equal to quarter the total original attack of the destroyed face-up monsters. Although you have a risk to receive damage, you could still destroy all monsters on the field. So no matter what, this will destroy all monsters on the field. Non-targeting destruction. Time Wizard plus an effect monster. Once per turn, while you control this fusion summon card, so if it is properly fusion summoned and then you bring it back through another way to special summon it, like Super Team Buddy Force Unite, it will not work. Once per turn, while you control this fusion summoned, you could toss a coin, call it, destroy as many on the field possible, and if you do, inflict damage to a quarter. If you called the coin toss right, your opponent takes the damage. If you called it wrong, you take the damage. No matter what the coin toss is, all monsters will be destroyed. So you will, at minimum, deal or take 500 damage. If there's 2,000 attack monsters on the field, that's 1,000 damage. Okay, interesting. Thunder and Dragon. This is a good generic rank 8 or 2 level 8 monsters. So 2 blue eyes white dragons. Once per turn, you could detach a material, destroy all other monsters on the field. Non-targeting destruction. 2 blue eyes white dragons, non-targeting destroy all other monsters on the fields. Oh my. Oh my. So if you are not happy with a card like Saber Dancer, no more. Saber Dancer, no more. Cannot be targeted. Too bad. You're going to destroy it. So let's see. Your opponent cannot target. Cannot target. So let's look at the word cannot target. What are popular cards that cannot be targeted? Decider cannot be targeted for an attack by level 5 or higher. If they... Okay, so it's pretty much just going to be Saber Dancer and just wiping the full fields. Let's go back. Nekroz or Brionic. This is the Searcher. Senju searches Brionic. Brionic searches any Nekroz monster. And if this is summoned, target up to 2 special summon monsters on the fields. Return them back in the deck. Bounce them. Poggers. I can't wait to see how many Nekroz cards they released. Only Brionic disappointing. No. 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 Tatsunoko. Tatsunoko, 1 tuner plus 1 or more non-tuner, completely generic, level 3. If this card is synchro summoned, would be used as a synchro material. 1 monster in your hand can be used as one of the... If this synchro summoned monster would be used as a synchro material itself, 1 monster in your hand can be used as one of the other synchro materials unaffected by other monster effects. There has to be a way that this card will easily summon Quarion. I mean, that's all I could think about. So it is a tuner itself. Then you could use another tuner in your hand or a non-tuner, and then you just need 1 other monster on the field. This has to be a way to summon Quarion. So I'm excited for that. Okay. Perform a Pal. Odd Eyes Unicorn. It's an 8 scale. The monster effect is when this card is summoned, you can target a Perform a Pal in your graveyard, gain life equal to its attack. Okay. Once while this is in your Pendulum Zone, when an Odd Eyes declares an attack, you can target 1 other Perform a Pal you control. It has to be a monster. That attacking monster gains attack equal to the original attack of the targeted monster on the field until the end of the battle phase, even if this card leaves the field. So I think the biggest use for this will be that it's an 8 scale. That could be very good for Pendulum Summoning, and then it just has the other effects are the cherries on top. Cherry on top, but boost the attack, gain life if you want. Otherwise, it's an 8 scale. Okay? What the... Time Wizard plus 100 Dragon plus Time Wizard of Tomorrow. First, you Palmerize and send Time Wizard and 100 Dragon to the graveyard as fusion materials. Activate the effect 100 Dragon that was sent to your graveyard to target the Time Wizard of Tomorrow so that it will not be destroyed by battle or card effects one time while it remains face up on the field. Since your Time Wizard of Tomorrow will not be destroyed by its effect to destroy all monsters on the field, this will allow you to go for a direct attack. What? 100 Dragon? Load? If this card is sent to the graveyard, you can target one face-up monster, so it's a trigger effect. When sent to the grave, target your Time Wizard that was special summoned. If this card is sent to the graveyard, you could target one face-up monster your opponent controls that was special summoned for the extra deck. The first time that face-up would be destroyed by battle or card effect that is not destroyed. You can only use this effect once per turn. Okay. So if you wipe a massive field with their crappy loading times of Time Wizard of Tomorrow that's not even working right now, good job, Konami. Go to duellinksmeta.com instead for the review. This will deal quarter damage. Quarter damage. So there would have to be, for this to be lethal, there would have to be 8,000 attack on the field. Not including Time Wizard of Tomorrow. So you would literally need like 3 Blue Eyes White Dragons on the field to destroy, to then attack directly for game. Why? They could have just kept it half and it still wouldn't have been that good, but okay, that's pretty funny. So my initial impression just looking at this is, what the heck, Konami? Only Nekroz Embryonic? Are you really gonna spread the support that much? What the hell? What the hell? Dark Arm, the Dragon of Annihilation. I don't know if I could really do a review if their website doesn't even work. Okay, let's go. Dark Armed of the Annihilation. 2 level 7. 2 plus level 7 monsters once per turn if you have exactly 5 dark monsters in your graveyard. You can also exceed summon this by using 1 level 5 or higher dark dragon type monster you control as material. What? 5 dark monsters in your graveyard. You could also exceed by using a level 5 or higher dark dragon type monster. You could detach a material from this card, target 1 card your opponent controls, destroy it, then banish 1 card from your graveyard. Also, this card cannot attack for the rest of this turn. Level 5 or higher dark monster, dark dragon. Let's see. Maybe a Gaia deck could use this? I don't know. We don't play that many dark monsters, do we? The Eccentric goes to the extra deck. Levineer, we're going to need light monsters with it. Are we going to play it in Resonators? Resonators got to be the deck to use it. Yeah. Fill up the grave with Resonators, and then you could summon it by using the Red Rising Dragon to do it. Okay. You have to have exactly 5 dark monsters in your graveyard to do it. Exactly 5. Interesting. So if you Crimson, Wild Wind, Red Rising, the Red Resonator Dragon, the Red Resonator from the deck, that's 4 dark monsters right away. Okay. Interesting. This card's banned in the TCG, is it? What? Sylvan Princess Sprout. Sylvans. Wait, is this a reprint? Reprint. Wait, what? It's not a reprint. Princess Sprout, you could only activate each effect of Princess Sprout once per turn. You could tribute this card to excavate the top card of your deck, send it to the graveyard. Then you could place 1 Sprout monster in your graveyard on top of your deck. In your graveyard, Sprout monster? What the heck? So you normal summon, tribute, or you could special summon, tribute. Look at the top card of your deck, send it to the grave, then you could put a Sprout monster in your graveyard on top of your deck. So pretty much going to be just her, and maybe she'll have an effect when excavated, yeah? If this card is excavated from the deck and sent to the graveyard, you could declare a level from 1 to 8, special summon this card from your grave, and if you do, it becomes that level. Okay, exceeding. Synchroing. So you tribute, excavate the top card, then put it back on top of your deck, and then you will either draw it next turn or excavate it that turn, then summon it. Interesting. Oh, geez, I had to use freaking Konami's site. Thank you so much. All right. This is much better. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Then we have Pendulum Paradox. Add 2 face-up pendulum monsters with the same pendulum scale but different names from your extra deck to your hand. You could only activate 1 Pendulum Paradox per turn. Add 2 face-up pendulum monsters with the same pendulum scale but different names. So I'm thinking, is there a good way to reuse your eccentric? Eccentric is scale 7. So we need scale 7 with a different name from eccentric. Maybe Yosa and Jews, the Dragong and eccentric. To reuse eccentric, that could maybe be good. The new Flash Knight that just came out. Maybe. Okay. I'll be excited to see what we could do with this. Book of Moon being reprinted, already talked about that. Rescue Hamster. Now, Rescue Hamster, I don't know what it does, but I know that when a card says Rescue in its name, it's good. Rescue Rabbit, top tier in the TCG. Rescue Cat, top tier in the TCG. Both cards would summon 2 monsters from the deck, so Rescue Hamster might be similar. As a Pendulum face-up spell, you could banish this card from your Pendulum zone, add 2 face-up Pendulum monsters with the same name from your extra deck to your hand. Okay. Maybe add 2 eccentrics from your Pendulum zone back to your hand. During the turn this card was normal summoned, if you have a face-up level 5 or lower Pendulum monster in your extra deck, you could tribute this card, choose 1 level 5 or lower Pendulum monster in your extra deck, special summon 2 monsters from your deck with the same name as that card, but their effects are negated. Also, they are destroyed during the end phase. Wow. That's pretty cool. So if you have a level 4 Pendulum extra deck monster, let's do this. Ooh, Orthros. So if you have an Orthros, you could summon 2 Orthros from the deck and then exceed with them. The Samurai Cavalry. The new Flash Knight. Okay. Rank 4 exceeding. So for rank 4 exceed gadget pendulums, this might be good support. Possibly. Okay. Interesting. Nice. This is a reprint. This is a reprint. Gishki. You could ritual summon this card with a Gishki ritual. Once per turn, you can pay 1,000 life, draw 1 card, and if you do, reveal it. Then, if it was a Gishki monster, shuffle 1 card from the field into the deck. Ritual summon this card, pay 1,000, draw, reveal, Gishki. This is non-targeting. Non-targeting. You shuffle 1 card from the field into the deck. Your opponent doesn't even know if it's going to work, but we're going to assume that it's going to work. Non-targeting shuffle from field into the deck. Not back to the hand, back into the deck. Poggers. That's a great boss monster. That is Chad Gishki, yes. Huge. Refresh the Dark Being. This card can only be ritual summoned with the ritual spell card Final Ritual of the Ancients. Once per turn, by discarding a spell card from your hand, take control of 1 monster on your opponent's side of the field until the end of this turn. Refresh of the Dark Being. So what is this, a Dark Being? If this card is used to ritual summon refresh the Dark Being, you must also tribute monsters whose total levels equal 8 or more from your field to your hand, so it does not have to be exactly. Very good. Okay, and you discard a spell to take control of a monster. What can we use this with? Do we see any, like, good apparent synergy with this? What is this called? Reshef. Reshef. I mean, that's it. That's it. That's it. Yu-Gi-Oh! Top decks. Someone's used this, yeah? It's got to be top tier. No. Trash and TCG. Probably going to be trash and Duel Links. Up next. Malefic Fusion. A Bujin Pendulum. as a pendulum scale, as a face-up spell. You could banish this card in your pendulum zone, then target one Bujin Exceed. You control special summon from your extra deck one Bujin Exceed with a different name by using that target as the Exceed material. Interesting. It is a normal monster, which means it is searchable with painful choice, painful decision, right? Painful decision could search this card. That's good. Searchable Bujin, searchable scale. Works with Tenki. Tenki searches the whole Bujin deck. So Tenki, painful decision. Okay, great. Imprisoned after a showdown with Bujin Hirume over the Sky Throne, this master schemer eventually escaped by manipulating Hirume and creating the sinister Bujinki Amaterasu, then went on to almost engulf the world in darkness, but was finally defeated by Yamato and his allies. Wait, in the flavor text, it tells us to summon Amaterasu? This one's hard to summon. Once per turn during either player's turn, you could detach a material, target one of your banished level 4 or lower monsters, special summon it, or during your opponent's turn, you could target one of your banished level 4 or lower monsters, add it to your hand. So this will be searchable at Painful Decision, Tanky, and it could help you summon a Bujin Amaterasu. Nuts. Add a hand trap to the hand. Very good. Thank you, Yamato, for saving us. 100 Dragon. We kind of looked at this. I guess you're going to use it with the Time Wizard. Level 4, 1800. During your main phase, you can activate this card until the end of this turn. Increase this card's level by the number of cards control. If you do, this card gains attack equal to the level increased by 100. If this card is sent to the graveyard, you could protect. What is another way? If you send this with Neos Fusion... Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Neos Fusion. With Brave Neos. You send this to the graveyard. And now the Brave Neos has double destruction protection. Double protection. Double layered. That's a super condom. Holy moly. It's time to whip out your Brave Neos again. Lube them up. Lube up your Brave Neos. Spirit of the Fall Wind. If this card is summoned, normal summoned, you can add one flip monster from your deck to your hand. Okay. Flip. A flip monster. Crawler. Raikou. Subterror. Is it maybe something with the new box? Let's see. These are the flip effects. Flip, you could add a ritual monster from your deck to your hand, from your deck or graveyard to your hand. It's kind of slow though, yeah? Flip, you could add a ritual spell from your deck or graveyard to your hand. Flip, during the end phase of this turn, destroy as many defense position monsters your opponent controls as possible. If you do, inflict 500 to your opponent for each card destroyed. Kind of crap. Kind of crap. Kind of not Q. What is this? Is this something with flip? You could ritual summon this card with Prediction Ritual. Once per turn during your end phase, you could special summon one flip monster from your hand or graveyard in face down defense. You could only use one of the effects of the following once per turn. During either player's turn, you could target a face down monster, change it to face up attack, triggering the flip effect. During either player's turn, you could target one face up monster on the field, flip it face down. Okay. Great. I love this filter. So I just searched the word flip and we got the flip ritual deck. Search a flip, make the flip ritual, special summon the flips, flip them up, flip them down. Let's go. A flippin' ritual deck. Poggers. And then this card's good. Shuret, the Strategist of Nekroz. So if I were to go to the ban list for TCG, Shuret, I think this card got limited. Control F, Shuret. Shuret has been banned. What? Banned and limited to 1. That's how good the card is. What the heck? In the history of the ban list, it has been banned and or limited to 1. If you're going to summon exactly 1 Nekroz ritual with a card effect that requires the use of monsters, this card could be used as the entire requirement. If this card is tributed by a card effect, you could add a warrior Nekroz ritual from your deck to your hand. You can only use this effect to assure it. So what's great about this is when we get more Nekroz cards. So let's type in Nekroz. What about warrior? So if you use it, you will be able to add your Brionic or Trushilla, or even the Colossus. These are big. These are big. And just in general, the ritual monsters, you're going to want to summon big ritual monsters. Summoning a level, what is this, 10, 11? I don't see the 10. Summoning a 10. Summoning a 10. So summoning the big rituals with Assure It and then also searching. Great. These are all reprints. You what, mate? Of the Nekroz. Moving on. Any other cards to really go nuts about? Vola, Chemicritter. When this card is Exceed, you could target 1 Gemini in your graveyard, special summon it while it has a material and your opponent controls. Your monsters your opponent controls cannot target Gemini you control for attacks. Also, your opponent cannot target Gemini monsters with card effects. Okay. So a Gemini deck, when a Gemini is summoned, you could detach a material, make your opponent send 1 card from their hand to field to the graveyard, their choice. Bringing back Geminis. Aurea. 2 level 7 monsters. So level 7, this is a Sylvan. So if we look at Sylvan level 7, Sage Koya? What the? Once per turn, you could send a plant monster from your hand or face it from your field to the graveyard. Look at the number of the top cards of your deck equal to the level of the monster sent to the graveyard. And then put them on top of your deck in any order. You can, once per turn, detach a material, choose a number from 1 to 3, excavate that many cards off the top of your deck, then trigger their Sylvan effects. And then return up to that many cards in the field to the hand, minimum 1. Except this card, also place the other cards on the bottom of your deck in any order. That's kind of nuts. Non-targeting return. Return up to that many cards on the field to the hand. Non-targeting return to the hand. Okay. That's pretty good. If you can actually summon it. And you're going to summon it with this. When a Sylvan monster is sent to the graveyard, you could special summon this card from your hand. Okay. So if you have 2 in the hand, we can easily get it out. Once per turn, you could excavate the top card of your deck. If you do, it's a plant. Send it to the graveyard. Otherwise, put it in the bottom of your deck. If this card is excavated, you could target 1 Sylvan spell trap in your graveyard, add it to your hand. I'm not sure how good that other effect is, but from the hand, being able to special summon, that could be good. And also, the Princess Sprout could change her level to 7. So that's going to be good. When this card is excavated, you special summon it, and it becomes level 7 if you want to then make your Aurea. Okay. I'm going to make the deck. I'm going to do it. What else we got? Talked about this. This is the Flip Effect Ritual. Perform a Pal. I'm not sure if I kind of only want to review boss monsters. I don't want to go through the whole thing. I don't want to make this too long, too drawn out. This is just an initial reaction of what's good. We all know that rare and common equals probably not good. Pandaborg. Okay, Psychic. Gaia, chat, are there any hidden gems here? Whoa, Ignite cards. Are these free-to-play cards, or is this going to be a good deck? Is this going to be trash? Let's see. All Ignite monsters on the field gain 300 attack and defense. Once per turn, you could target an Ignite and then destroy it. If you do, add an Ignite from your deck to your hand. You tell me what's good with this. There's 2, it's all common and normals, mate. What's the winning strategy? If you can't tell me real quick, what could it do? I'll read this and that. That's it. I'm not going to read the pendulums. While this card is in your hand, you could target 3 cards you control, destroy them. If you do, special summon this once per turn. You could target 1 other and return it to the hand. If you do, place 1 monster your opponent controls on the bottom of the deck. Okay. Doo-Doo Knight, probably. Lancer, when this card is in your hand, you can target 3 you control and destroy them. If you do, special summon. Once returned, you can target 1 other knight and return it to the hand. If you do, play a spell. Put a spell, trap your opponent controls on the bottom of the deck. Wow. Yashinoki? An intelligent palm tree that drops a hail of rock-hard coconuts on its enemies. That's a Florida monster. Y'all don't have palm trees where you live? Holy moly. Behegon? With an enormous maw and massive teeth, this monstrosity is one dangerous and strange serpent from the deep. Karyushin, a sea dragon known as the King of the Ocean. It attacks its enemies with huge tidal waves. All right, you tell me your reaction. Anything I should focus on? That was a quick little reaction to the Chaos Soldiers. Refreshing, that picture don't work, but it works right here. So thank you all so much. Let me know if you enjoyed this. This is live on stream. The box being announced. Let's freaking go. Fools.